Welcome everybody to a brand new video. Today is a very special one because I have a very special guest with me. She's none other than the voice actor in Overwatch. She played Symmetra over there. She played Apex in Apex Legends. She plays at Rampart. She has been in a number of movies, TV shows. The one in specific is Miss Marvel, which I was very excited when I got to know. Anjali Bhimani.
Hello. You forgot to say this is also someone who we've been in conversation together for for years at this point.
Yeah, I think so. A couple of years at least.
So
yeah.
I'm so glad that we're finally doing this. I apologize for my crazy pants schedule. I would have done it infinitely. I would have done it so much sooner because you're so lovely.
Oh.
I really enjoyed our conversations.
Thank you so much. I mean, it's okay. You have lots of work to do. It's all right. I appreciate you being here, accepting this, and allowing you 30 minutes and for coming in, because that's great. I will take any much amount of time that there is, talk to you about a lot of things about video games and stuff.
And we'll do part two. Like if we have to cut off, you get part two. Oh, yeah. So everyone be prepared. One way or the other, we're doing this.
Oh yes, one way or the other. That's happening. We're gonna get more.
Yes.
So we're gonna start straight up with Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 is out. What do you?
Yeah,
what
as
do you
of
think?
yesterday.
Yes.
Like not even 24 hours ago.
Not even 24 hours ago. So what are you feeling with Overwatch 2 out?
I mean, okay, so many things. The original Overwatch, to say it was a game changer and a life changer is like the understatement of the century. I wrote a very long message yesterday, both to my newsletter and on social media, trying to in some way encompass how special it has been, not just to me personally and not just to be a part of it, but to watch the collective embracing of that world at the time that it happened. And how my personal story with the timing of Overwatch coming out was very timely for me in terms of going through something very painful in my life, and all of a sudden having this big light that was there that shone on me, and that light was this amazing community and these amazing developers who I really don't think get nearly enough credit for the work that they do.
For sure.
I know that everybody wants to complain about game mechanics and all of this stuff, and those are the people you want to talk to because those are the people putting it together. But I am just, the amount of commitment and the amount of care and the amount of love that they put into the games that they create, and specifically into Overwatch, it's monumental. It's heroic. So to have that global community come together was such a special thing. And so Overwatch 2, it's very exciting because obviously we are getting, and we can say at this point, obviously we're getting a little bit more story, we're getting more voice lines, there are surprises that everybody's finding. There are things coming later that they've, told us about happening in 2023 and whatnot. But there is always going to be this soft spot in my heart for that beginning, for that original, for that original overwhelm of excitement for all of us. I'm so in love with these characters, and they came from that original game, and so to carry them into this next step, this next phase, this next chapter is very exciting. That I will never. But I don't think any of us are ever feeling like, okay, well, that's behind us now. It's all part of the same game. It's all part of the same universe. It's all there. So I'm very excited. I am terrible at first-person shooters, like so bad it's embarrassing.
Oh no.
So the chances of me getting into play it for a while are pretty slim. I will eventually. I have promised a few people that like when I get a little bit of time, a few friends, I'm like, we'll hide out in like some kind of special thing so no one can find me, and we'll figure out how to make this happen. But yeah, I think the last time I actually got to play was way back when they had the event, the Symmetra event. I think it was last year or maybe even the year before, where she got the Maramat skin, and they had that beautiful story that Christy Golden wrote called Stone by Stone. It was such a beautiful story.
That was a good one.
Yeah. So it's been a minute. It's been a minute since I played.
But yes, speaking of community, I mean, since Overwatch came, it became such a big hit. everybody loved all types of heroes. Everybody, for me, when I played Symmetra for the first, not Symmetra, I think when I was playing some other character, but there was Symmetra in my team, and she said something in Hindi, and I was like, oh, wait a second, wait, hold on. What?
Hang on a
Hang
minute.
on a minute. Because I did not know about all the heroes. I was just joining in. I played a couple of them. I know a couple of those guys, but not everybody. But I was like, oh, hold on. So then I quickly searched, like, who did this? Who is the voice actor? And I found you. I'm like, no way. And I researched all of it. And then I went on to find panels and all these conventions. It was so cool to see how people, have this amazing connection with these heroes. So over the years, like it's been 6 years almost this game originally came out. It's crazy. How's that community been like all these years?
No, the community is everything. And this is the reason that I very specifically use the term community and not fans, because I don't believe that there is a separation in the sense of our collaboration in the game. The players are as much a part of the collaboration as we are.
Yes.
And we voice actors are one like cog in a giant wheel that is making this game run, right? The developers, the creators, the writers, everybody, and then the community who is giving us active input on the reg. So it's unlike anything I've ever experienced. I mean, I've been acting for 25 years now, so I've been around, and I've done a little bit of everything. I've done Broadway, I've done dance, I've done opera, I've done TV, I've done film, I've done a little bit of everything, and I've never, ever, ever experienced the kind of community that I began to experience when I came back to the gaming world. I was a gamer when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And then there was just like a long period of like the dark days when I wasn't gaming anymore because I was trying to be a very serious person, and it was so hard to kind of it wasn't as cool when I was back in my day. It wasn't so cool to be a
back
gamer.
in my day.
Yeah, exactly. So it was sort of something that I did like on the sly. I would do it in my free time and kind of hiding out. And so I couldn't balance the two. But now that games have finally become much more mainstream and people are seeing the value of them, not just in terms of entertainment, but empathy building and learning and all sorts of things. Now that we have that chance, and for me to be able to come into this community as a gamer and as a performer, it's just been absolutely extraordinary. I've never experienced the kind of artistry and generosity and support that I experienced when I first found this community through Overwatch, and then the broader community outside of that, after that, because obviously the gaming community is ginormous. There are people all over. And if Overwatch isn't for you, there are a million other games. Yeah. So getting to connect with people through that, though, was very, very special. And I think especially because Overwatch, it may not be the only one now, but I feel like it was very much at the forefront of creating a set of diverse heroes, but not just diverse in terms of one aspect of who they are, not just their cultural background, not just their gender, not just their abilities, not just their neurodiversity, but a set of very complicated, complex, unique people who happen to be a series of different things, just like all of us are. Symmetra happens to be Indian, but she's also on the spectrum, and she's also an architect. Not architect. She's got all of these facets to her personality. All of these things, being plucked from the slums, growing up in Hyderabad, and then moving to working with Vishka. There's all of this unique stuff, and that's one story. And I feel like Overwatch may have been, at least in my experience, the first time that people got to see a whole array of those heroes, so that there was something for every person who played to identify with on some level. On some level, there is a hero that you have something in common with, one way or another, if you're playing this game. Even Hammond the hamster. Some people are reckless, like Hammond the hamster.
So it's there.
And some people are kooky like he is, or reckless, and want to roll on. But I think there's something for everyone to connect with. And as a result, there's something very empowering about that, I think. There's something empowering about stepping into the role of a hero, not just watching it on a screen, but stepping into that first person experience. And I think there's nothing like it. And to be able to do that through this game, I think has been a really lovely thing for a lot of people. And it's certainly been a lovely thing for me as a performer and as a person, because it's the first time that I feel like my sort of life mission, purpose, all of that, and my weapon of choice which is what I think of, acting as my
Yeah.
weapon of choice to achieve my passion. The two of them really aligned because I really love meeting people, finding out what excites them, and fanning that flame.
Mhm.
Because people are amazing when they are given the right opportunity to be themselves.
Yeah.
And the world has a way of not necessarily encouraging us to be ourselves a lot of times.
Many times. That's
So
true.
any chance that I get to fan that flame for someone to find the parts of them that they connect with and that they're proud of and that excitement, any chance I get to do that is just like, yes, please, yes. And that's another reason I love conventions,
Oh, yes.
because it's the first time in my experience that I've gotten to connect one-on-one with so many people who have been taking in these pieces of art, these games, these movies, these comic books, all of this, who've been taking it in, and you can have that one-on-one conversation with them and be like, so tell me about you. Tell me what excites you. Tell me why this particular show, this particular game excites you. What is the thing that it does for you? That to me is it's everything. It's the reason to do this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I have seen so many people having such a deep connection, such a deep love, not only with the game, but with all these characters. It's amazing to see that.
Yeah. And, when people are like, oh, I hate your character, I'm like, great, there are 30 something other characters to
yeah,
kill
there's
them
more
with. So
characters to
knock
go for.
yourself out. There's something for everyone.
Yeah,
It's not like you have to play my hero.
exactly.
Enjoy the universe that they have created for you.
There's so many characters. You can pick anyone. Just don't be negative. Just if you don't like it, move on. There's like 32 more
Move on. There's
characters.
somewhere else.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for something else. But like there's so many actors been a part of this game. You guys have like been together, worked together. That relationship with these people, with these wonderful people that you have. I love the fact that you and Carolina are like always just like bonding such strongly.
Yeah, well, the poor thing. As soon as we hung out, I was like, okay, you're about to be my friend for the rest of my life, whether you like it or not. And thankfully, she, feels the same. But yeah, these are, these friendships came out of being a part of something bigger than us, I think.
Yeah.
And while maybe not the entire cast has had the opportunity to connect, I do think that many of us have built lifelong friendships they're not going anywhere, and that they extend beyond the game, far beyond the game.
Yeah.
But part of it's interesting because it's not necessarily that we got to perform together so much as we got to experience this whole thing together with conventions and BlizzCon and Blizzard bringing us all together. And because we don't generally record with each other. But this experience of getting to be a part of something and getting to learn about the community and all of this together, that has been a very bonding experience. I think it's something unique that brought us together. And I feel that way about a few of my casts now, but this is obviously this was a special one.
Yeah, I love that. I love seeing your posts all the time with her. It's so insane. I'm like, how do you guys get that energy? That's my God. It's amazing to see
Well,
that.
I think it's a combination of things. One is the wild appreciation we have for the people that we're making those videos for. Like I get energized by an audience I care about. And 99% of the time, if I'm performing, I care about my audience. And this particular audience happens to be this amazing community.
Yeah.
So it's even more exciting. It's very much like, ooh, what do we want to give them today? What do we want to do? Let's be silly. Let's be crazy people like we always are, but let's do something fun for them.
Yeah.
And that's very helpful. Also, when we're not on camera, maybe we're sleeping. Who knows? Who knows?
Who knows?
I'm a sprint. My energy is definitely a sprinter's energy from day to day. I don't mean as an athlete. I'm a terrible athlete, but I mean like I'm not a marathon runner throughout the day. I don't have even energy throughout the day. I'm definitely someone who like if I don't get a 20-minute nap at least once somewhere in the middle of the day, things are going to go horribly wrong.
Oh, no, I can feel you.
You're not going to want to be around. Yeah.
I can feel you over there.
Yeah.
But I mean, I gotta say, like when I first, was looking at your profile and like what else you've done. It's Overwatch was not the only game you were a part of. You have been in Fallout 4, Fallout 76. I was like, oh, you've been support side characters. But there's one game that I recently found out, and I unfortunately I didn't play it. I did not know about it even. It's called Indivisible. I got to select. I was
yeah.
like, oh, this is an interesting one. And you got to play Kala, who's like an evil character,
Yeah,
goddess
yeah,
of
yeah.
life and rebirth.
We try not to spoil it too much because she's very mysterious
Yeah,
until the end. But yeah, it's a big departure. It's a big
it's
departure.
different character. I was like, oh, that's interesting. What was that? That like you played like a more of a hero one.
Wonderful. I mean, as an actor, you want to be able to play a bunch of different things. You don't ever want to
Yeah,
be pigeonholed into playing one thing, right?
yeah.
Um, and one of the many things I love about that game is that it's so much about the different parts of you that
Mhm.
make you you.
Yeah.
You know, our hero character has these characters that help her, but they're really a part of who they are. They're a manifestation of her own psyche, of her own abilities. And so just the name Indivisible, you don't get one part without the other.
Mhm.
You're all this person. You don't get the good without the bad. You don't get the light without the dark. You're everything that you are is in here. It's just a matter of what you allow to manifest in yourself. Are you going to allow the dark side of you to manifest?
Yeah.
Or are you going to find ways to let that die for lack of feeding it? Are you going to allow the anxiety to manifest, or are you going to find ways somewhere to take care of yourself enough that you can manage your fear? It's not about not having fear. We all need fear, but it's managing it, which
Mhm.
can be a really hard thing in today's society.
Yeah.
So it's a really special game. And it was such a fun session. I remember recording it, and Christina V, who a lot of people know
Yeah.
from a gazillion things, she was the session director. And so it was just, yeah, it was really, really, that was a special one. That was very special.
Yeah, I was
And like
surprised.
dear to my heart, like small, but very dear to my heart.
Yeah, I love your role in that game. I was like, wow, this is very cool. I because I've seen in Overwatch, I've seen in Apex Legends, is like more of a hero character, but being in this different zone, I was like, wow, this is amazing. I feel like I would love to see more on the negative side of things in your
Oh, I
characters.
know, the
You know,
dark side.
the
Yeah,
dark
no,
side.
I know. It's always fun to play. I'm trying to think of any other dark characters. I played a very dark character in a movie called Trafficked.
Oh
Um,
yes, I have.
very dark
That was very
character in
dark.
that. She's awful, awful human being. Um, and I guess in Fallout 4, my character is pretty dark. Her name's Nisha, and
Nisha.
she's just like this psychopath. Like when people are like, "I'm so sorry, I killed your character," I'm like, "No, please kill her. She's 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 crazy.
Just be done
Like,
with
please,
it.
for the love of God, save yourself." But I love the opportunity to jump into that, and especially when it's not cut and dry whether it's a good or bad or light or dark character. Like it's it's a spectrum of good and evil in every person.
Yeah.
Good people are not people who never think of bad things. They're people who don't do them, or people who
Mhm.
don't allow those maybe more primal urges or primal anger or rage or whatever. They don't allow it to take over.
Yeah.
And so I love playing in that gray area, because no bad guy thinks that they're a bad guy.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But yeah,
Every bad guy thinks they're doing the
that,
right thing.
yeah, every bad
Even
guy has that.
Thanos thought he was doing the right thing. You know?
That's true. Every bad guy has like his whatever he or she is doing is like that's the right thing. But
Exactly.
overall,
I
it's
have a
not
reason.
really.
My
Yeah,
reason may be
reasons.
flawed, but they
Yeah,
have a good reason.
good reason, and that makes them good from their side. That's the way
Yeah.
the sacrifices and all that stuff. But yes, speaking of Marvel, you and I was very excited when I got to know when you got to be a part of Miss Marvel TV show, which is very exciting.
Yes.
First of all, exciting because there was a Pakistani character being introduced into the Marvel universe. I'm like, oh wow, because I saw Kamala Khan in a video game. I did not know about her character, but I got to see in a video game of Marvel's Avengers, and I got to see, oh, there's a show as well, and you are in it as well. So saw the whole season, and I was like, you are playing the perfect auntie over there. It's like because the way
She's my dream auntie.
yeah, the way you talk about like, oh, there was a particular moment where some girl was just ran away instead of getting married, and
Yep.
I like how you said like, oh yeah, she's wasting her life. It's like it's just an auntie thing to say. I'm like, wow,
Yeah.
that's it. That's what
Well,
I
I
was.
have to credit the creators and the writers of that show with that, because they yeah, they gave us a lot of complete, like all of the characters in that show. I'm like, yep, I've met that person. Yep, I've met that person in my real life. Yep, I've met that auntie. I've met that auntie. I've met that kid. They're all very real characters. And again, characters who are not all one thing or another.
Yeah.
You know, there are very few characters on that show that are all bad, or all, you know, good. Everybody's got their moments. And yeah, and I love the character that they let me play.
What was it like when you got to know, okay, you'll be going to a Marvel show, you'll be in a part of a Marvel show? Was there like did you feel
I
like
mean, it was amazing, and at the same time, I was like, I don't entirely know what I'm doing in said Marvel show. I know I'm playing a character named Ruby. Other than that, I have no idea what I'm getting into.
Oh, so they hid that like kind of detail on what
Yeah, like I mean, again, I knew generally from the auditions, you know, we did our audition sides, which are basically the script that they give you when you do an audition, were not actual sides from the script. They were, you know, sort of created for the audition. And so you don't really know, and more power to them for being able to keep things as you know, as close to the chest as they do. So every day was an adventure, which is really fun.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. But I mean, it's crazy. You've been in so many TV shows, TV series, in various episodes, and to be honest, I gotta say, all those shows are terrific. One of the movies you've been also in movies, and one of the movies I saw, I think it was Evil Eye, I believe
Yeah.
so, which I
Oh, that
saw.
was so fun.
That was an interesting one because, oh my god, it's like it's a thriller. I was enjoying it. I think Seti hosted like a watch party and we watched it together. It was such a fun
Yeah,
one.
that's right. Oh, our
Yeah.
boy, our sweet Seti. I love him so much. I love him so much.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really fun one. Really, really fun one. And unusual.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very
what was
different
it
one.
was it what was also exciting for me is that the screenwriter, Madhuri Shekhar, who wrote this, I had actually met her years earlier doing a play workshop where all of the writers were workshopping essentially their first draft of their play, and then having actors just come in and cold read it. And I read one of the characters in her play and just fell in love with her writing and the complexity and everything that she was doing. And we became friends, you know, work friends. And I did a bunch of readings of that or whatever. So when I saw the audition for this, and my manager said, "Hey, do you want me to submit you for this?" And I saw that it was Madhuri's. I was like, "Yes, 100%. Yes, put me in." And it was originally a sort of a radio play, a podcast play. I don't really know what they call it, audio play.
I think so.
So I got to listen to it that way.
Oh.
And it's told largely through the phone calls between the different characters that we see in the movie. So it was such a creative way of doing this, you know, and and so getting to be a part of that was really, really special. Plus with Sarita, who is like incredible.
Yeah.
Like she can do no wrong in my book. She's just absolutely, as an actress and as a human, she's just so unbearably cool and smart and talented and wonderful. I shouldn't say unbearably. It's just like it's truly unbelievable to me, some of the things that she can pull off. She's just incredible. I love her.
I really loved actually all the characters in the movie. It was really fun, and because I was not expecting that's how the movie. I never saw the trailer or anything, so I was completely going blind. So I was like, oh, this is
good.
Great.
Yeah, I personally, I think that's always the way to go into a movie. I hate the fact that so many trailers now feel the need to put all the quote unquote best surprise moments in the trailers. I'm like, then why am I watching the movie? So yeah, no, going into it without knowing the genre that it is, that's the way to do
special,
it.
Yeah.
That's definitely the way to do it. And everyone in that cast is just so lovely. Bernie is such a friend and is such an incredible actor too. And Sunita and Omar, like everybody in that cast is just really lovely.
Yeah, I love that. But this is a interesting thing because you work in TV shows, you work in games. What's kind of the difference between working in a TV show versus a video game?
So the way I like to explain the difference between acting in different media is it's similar to learning several Romance languages, right? They all have the same Latin root.
Yeah.
which for us as actors is storytelling. The root is all storytelling. But there is a unique way of telling your story. There's a unique language you tell it in, but they're very similar. There are some things that go across. You cannot be a voice actor without being an actor.
Yeah.
You cannot be you cannot be a voice actor without having some kind of ability to manipulate and play with your voice, which for me came from theater. So each one of them has their idiosyncrasies. I think there's an obvious difference between television and voiceover, which is that one of them you get to actually use your physicality in, and the other one you don't necessarily get to use that as a way to convey your emotion or a way to convey what's going on in the scene. So all of it needs to be channeled through your voice.
Yeah.
So that is its unique, obviously that's a unique challenge. One of the upsides of that is that I am not limited to what I look like in terms of the characters I can play. I can play a little boy. I can play a dragon. It doesn't matter. Like you can play whatever your voice sounds like for that character. So that's very freeing. It's also nice because as a voice actor, except for when we're doing motion capture, which is essentially just like doing a movie, only with a million cameras around you, so you really can't screw up. But as a voice actor, usually you're able to have the script in front of you. So that gives you a little bit more freedom, I think, sometimes to play. If you're not worried about learning 20 pages of dialogue the night before,
Yeah.
you can be a little bit more facile with things. I mean, obviously memorizing lines is part of the gig as an actor, but I do think sometimes that frees people up. And it's all storytelling. One way or the other. It's just a matter of how you're telling the story, what story you're telling, and who you're telling it with, and what part you are in the story. Like it's all story. It's all about story.
Yeah, that's great.
I have good news. I just got a text saying that my appointment is running late, so we can go a little longer.
Ooh.
Let's
good
do it.
news. That's
Let's
good
do
news.
it.
Yay.
Extra credit, you guys. We're going overtime.
That's right. That's amazing. You know what? Here's a very interesting thing. I don't know if you have the exact clear answer per se, but do you in the coming future, do you see or do you want to be a part of a particular video game franchise, or do you want to play in a completely different genre or something like that? Do you have that in mind?
Absolutely. I mean, there's so many things I want to do. What's lovely about one of the lovely things about the trajectory my life has taken is that feels like my life has been a series of moments going, I didn't know I was allowed to do that. Oh, I didn't know. Am I allowed to do that too? And once you tip over from asking permission to do things to just being like, oh, I want to do that. Oh, I want to do that. Now, granted, you're going to have to audition. You're going to have to do all the legwork, all of that. But the excitement about all the possibilities when you're not waiting for someone to give you permission to be who you are or do the thing you love or whatever it is, all of a sudden you're just like, yes, give me more of everything. I would love to be a part of Valorant or anything that Riot Games does because I think they're amazing. I would love to be a part of Arcane because it's one of the greatest pieces of animation I think has ever existed. I would love on camera. I would love to play an action hero. I think that's been one of my dreams for a long time. Generally speaking, has not been something that I have naturally been cast in. So now I'm like, come on, let's do it. Come on. I would love that. I am now moving also into producing, which is very exciting. So I have a show that I'm producing right now that I'm wildly excited about. And it has 5 South Asian American female leads.
Oh, wow.
So it's going to be a big step. And it's going to be a fun step, and it's very irreverent on top of that. So we're having a good time with that. Producing, obviously being an author is a new lane for me, which I'm thrilled about. God, they're just, I think for me now at this point in my life, again, talking about this tipping point between asking permission and just saying, oh, cool. A lot of my life, I looked at what other people were doing and thought, oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I was allowed to do. Oh, I wish I could get this. I wish I could have this. And now I see other people having certain experiences as proof as that is possible. as opposed to proof of what you don't have.
Yeah.
It may not be here in the present, but if this person wins this award, or if this person does this project, or this person has this relationship, or whatever, it's proof that that is possible. So now I'm always looking around for more inspiration from other people's success. And that's exciting too, because then you're rooting for everybody.
Oh yeah, that's great. I actually wanted to get into that because I had the same thing where most of the times I'm making videos on YouTube, and I try my best to not look at the numbers or look at the amount of people coming, comments, all that stuff. And sometimes I look at someone else and how they're getting it. They're able to gain that much following or whatever that is. I'm not able to get it. When do you have that kind of feeling? Maybe it happens. Maybe now you're like a lot better. I'm still trying to get out of that zone, but
oh no, it's still a battle. It's still something that I have to consciously work at, to not pay attention to those things. Because just like you have those metrics on YouTube, I have how many rolls I get.
Yeah.
Or I have successes of videos or failures of videos and all of that. So yeah, it's a constant, the catchphrase is what? Compare and despair. If you're comparing yourself, you're going to create despair in your life. But what I have tried to do as much as possible is peel away the part of me that wants to make anything outside of me a referendum on who I am. So what that means to me is someone else's success does not mean I'm a failure. Someone else's success does not mean I'm not doing well. Someone else doing better than me does not mean I'm not doing well. It just means, oh, cool. All right, let me assess things. Let me look at what they're doing. Let me pick it apart and see what I can learn from it. Is there anything I can learn from it? Is this just completely different thing? Or is their success completely separate from anything that I'm doing? Is it something that just I can't necessarily look at? I can just admire. When I start to more like science it, for lack of a better term, use it as data studying, and be lean into the logical side of my brain a little bit less than the feeling side of my brain, it's a little bit easier to take it. And I allow myself the moment of disappointment. I allow myself the point of pain. I allow myself to have that, like, oh God, not getting that role really hurt because I really wanted it. But I don't let it tip over into, I really wanted it and now I'm such a loser. Don't let it tip over into that point, because that's where you're starting to judge instead of evaluating. And I think that has just been a way that I clock it for myself. I like to give myself very clear and very short, pithy ways to change things in my life, because our brains veer towards what's easy. Naturally we lean into what's easy. So it's easy for me to say, am I judging or am I evaluating? Am I morally judging myself or am I evaluating my performance? Because evaluating your performance, you have to do on a day-to-day basis. If you're not checking in with yourself and seeing if you're doing your best work and doing your best period, then you can't grow. But if you're letting that tip into, well, now I'm a failure as a human being, that's not useful. That is not useful at all.
Yeah.
And we also live in a world now where this conversation is evidence of it. We live in a world now where you can get online and speak to someone as a mentor, as a business person, as a whatever. You can get online, and whether it's on Clubhouse or YouTube or wherever, you can write a letter to that person and actually have a conversation and learn from them how to get better. You can hit up some of those YouTubers and be like, dude, I'm so impressed with what you do. Is there any chance that we could take some time that you could give me some tips? And if they say no, big deal. You didn't know them before. Now you don't know them still. But we live in this age where we can connect with so many people and share in that experience together. It can be very empowering, as long as we don't let ourselves be overwhelmed by self-judgment, which again, it's an ongoing battle.
That's an ongoing battle, I think, for everybody. It's
exactly.
Crazy.
I really do think it is.
It's
yeah,
crazy.
I really do think it is.
Yeah, with self-doubt, self-confidence, always like sometimes it's sometimes you do well, sometimes you look at how you're progressing and you see positive results, and you're like, okay, you're happy, but the next you see something very small which is like might be a small bit tad bit negative, and you think such a big off it. I'm like, okay, this is why it's failed. And
I genuinely think that's partially like the evolution of our brains over time, because I think we naturally have a negative bias, or a bias towards information like that in our brains and in our limbic system and all of that, because we are wired to sense danger. Our primitive parts of our brain, their only job is to keep us alive.
yeah,
So when we sense anything that might cause danger, which in our modern day society, danger can look like loneliness, danger can look like rejection, danger can look like lack of success, danger can look like anything, however you interpret it. I think it is natural for us to not fixate, but to clock that a little bit more than to clock the rest. I think it takes a lot of self-training and a lot of self-talk to be like, okay, you know what? That's not a lion. That's not about to eat me. I can learn what I can learn from that, but let me feed this other stuff. It takes a lot of training to undo that evolution, you know? And I think we need to give ourselves a break, that like, good, well done, brain. Congratulations, brain. You're doing a great job.
yeah.
You're trying to keep me alive. This is BS, what you're trying to tell me, but good job in pointing it out. Great job.
Good job. Good work.
Yeah.
We're not going to go with that. Sorry.
Yeah. But thank you for letting me know. I had a mentor a long time ago. I was working with this gal on, just like life. And she encouraged me to say, anytime like my brain would just go to danger, 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 she'd be like, you know what? That's awesome. Go look for giant rats. That part of my brain, go look for giant rats. Go look for real danger.
Yeah.
I love that you're this good at this. Go look for real danger, because I need you to do that. And I loved that she did that, because it was very easy to kind of put things in perspective when that happened.
That's a nice one. Like, brain, stop this. Look at the real danger out there. My God.
Yeah, but being like, oh, you did such a good job. Well done, you. Go do a good job over there.
Yeah.
Do a good job on that. This is my job. You go do a good job on that. Because that's the other thing, like pushing against ourselves in any way, shape, or form, especially when you are an intelligent person like you, or ostensibly like I am, when you are someone who knows the world around them and senses reality, it's very hard. You don't want to fool your brain.
Yeah.
You don't want to be like positive, because ultimately, like, I know I used to joke about this, that like affirmations for me didn't work, because if I just sit here and say I am undefeatable at the net, I'm not going to suddenly know how to play tennis. I have to work with my brain on what I know to be true and what I know to be possible, and work up to things. So I may not be able to go from, God, I feel like such a loser, to I am such a winner, but I may be able to go to, you know what, I felt like a loser, but in actuality, I do see these few moments where I won. Oh, and I see this thing that I did. And if I did this, this might be proof that I could do this. It's steps that your brain can be like, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay, what else is true? But if you immediately jump from one giant thing to another, I feel like my brain's going to be like, yeah, no, nice try.
Sure.
That's BS. Nice try.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of something that happens in my mind, do you, when you go into a new project, no matter what it is, do you have that anxious feeling? Do you get that anxiety of when you step into a new role, which may be new for you? Maybe you've done it before, but it's like it's a new environment, maybe. But whatever the reason is it like, do you ever feel that anxiety boiling so much that you're kind of crumbled and you're not ready to go or something? How do you get out or away from that?
So my simple but not easy answer to that is I try to recognize that nervousness and excitement are the exact same thing. The only difference between the two is whether you are thinking something good is going to happen or you are thinking something bad is going to happen. That is the difference. When I am afraid of the outcome being bad, I'm nervous. When I'm thinking about the outcome possibly being awesome, all the things that could happen, I'm excited. My body feels the exact same way. My heart is racing. My breath might be a little bit more shallow. I might, whatever. Your physical manifestation of that is the same thing. So if I find myself being crippled by nerves, and I thankfully I don't generally get into that place anymore, because I don't allow myself to spiral into fear as much, because I know once I get there, it's harder to get out.
Yeah.
But I love to be like, okay, well, whatever is going to happen hasn't happened yet.
Mm-hmm.
So how about I lean into the good possibilities instead of the bad possibilities? Because neither one is true yet. We'll find out what happens.
Yeah.
I also feel that, and this is just a part of experience, of life experience, not age so much as we experience more things as human beings. As we experience more, I think we trust ourselves to survive more.
Yeah.
And the more you get through by just surviving it, maybe not graceful, whatever, but the more you get through, the more you trust that you can get through things. So giving ourselves the credit literally for just surviving sometimes is I think it's important. I think it's an important thing.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. I think especially for me, someone like me who I always get anxious a lot of the times when I'm doing, for example, I think a couple of days back, and I like coming to this, like doing this interview with you, I think I wanted to do this for a while back, but I was like always scared, or I always had this feeling that, oh, what if I can't? What if I will not be able to? So it's hard to bring that courage back up to do this. I've been better. I'm happy that I've been better. That feels good to it's fine. It's okay. And I think it's hard for everybody, for a lot of people, like even my sisters, they also have sometimes those issues, but it's harder. But I think, and having a different mindset, to even set that mindset up to go in the right direction is just hard to build up. But I think eventually, once you start that process, I think eventually you will get to a better place.
You get better at it. And look, it is really important to surround yourself with people who help you do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is very important. There is no shame in depending on other people to help you in those moments where your confidence is lacking. There is not only is there no shame, I would argue it's unrealistic to expect us to do it for ourselves all the time. Yeah. Part of what I learned the hard way was that for many years, I would surround myself with people who would repeat to me the negative bias that my brain already had. I would surround myself with people who would treat me just a little better than I was treating myself, and I was treating myself like crap. So if someone would tell me what was wrong with me, I would automatically trust them more than someone who told me what was right with me. Someone told me what was wrong with the performance, I would automatically trust them more than I trusted people who told me what was right. If someone told me I was pretty, I was like, yeah, here's a million excuses why you said that. But if someone told me anything negative about myself, my appearance or anything, I would fixate on, oh my God, they're so right, let me do that. Surrounding yourself with people who can, again, help you assess yourself without morally judging yourself, people who can be more objective to you and more objective to what you're doing, and people who are just excited to see you succeed is vital. It is absolutely vital. I finally got to a point in my life when I realized how much I was making myself smaller because I was surrounding myself with the people I was surrounding myself with. And when I started to lean into my beautiful family, who were so encouraging, when I started leaning into my friends who actually were supportive, people in general who were nice and supportive, I started to find that now at this point in my life, I almost feel like I have a little bit of a force field. Like I just don't notice people who are like that, or I just immediately am just like, I can feel that energy and I can wish them well, but not let myself be affected by it, because I've been there. Yeah. I've been on my knees. I've been depressed. I've been, all of these horrible things that we allow ourselves to have. So surrounding yourself with people who, I say this about my friends all the time, and my greatest accomplishment in the world is the circle of people around me that I get to call my chosen family, that are willing to be that close to me. I say this about my friends. I say this about my husband. They accept me exactly as I am, but they will not let me settle for being less than I can be. So on those days when I'm trying to beat myself up, they're like, we're not having that. That's not working for us.
Yeah.
Get it together. Come on, come on. And the more people you surround yourself with like that, the easier it is to deal with those nerves, the easier it is to deal with those. You find yourself talking less about your fear. You find yourself thinking less about your fear because you're just surrounded by that more buoyant energy.
Yeah.
You know, it's very important. Other people are, it's vital. It's vital. And again, we have this beautiful opportunity in our lives now, even if we don't necessarily have that in our inner circle around us, even if maybe you aren't close with your family, or you feel like you don't have a big circle of friends, there is a global community available to you. You can find those people online. You can find those people over the phone.
Yeah.
You know, and that is, I think it's easy today because we are so digitally oriented. It's easy to feel even more lonely because we feel like we have to look a certain way online.
Yeah.
I do my best to both be an example of this and to do it for myself. I find myself wanting to lean more into how can we connect more? How can we be more human through digital life? How can we be more personal, more connected? Rather than putting on this facade of who we are, this avatar or whatever. How can we actually maintain those connections like we have here?
Yeah.
I mean, when in the world would we ever have met each other if it wasn't for the internet?
Yeah, I don't think so.
You know, and the ability to stream. How crazy is that?
Yeah.
Right?
Show to
Like,
tons
it's
of
just,
people. It's insane.
Exactly. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. So it's one of the reasons I wrote my book. And I am going to have to go here in 5 minutes because I do have to get to this next appointment. But I wrote my book, which is called I Am Fun Size and So Are You.
Yes.
To be a series of stories from my life that made, if nothing else, allowed people to know you're not alone. You're not alone. You may not have gone through the exact same thing I did. I may not understand the exact thing you're going through, but there is someone here who has been through feelings, who has been through fear, who has been through loss, who has been through triumph. There's someone around you, not just me, but someone. There's always someone around you who is there with a shoulder, with a song, with a joke, with a flashlight, cheering you on. There's always someone there. And I think it's important for us to remember that when we are in our darkest moments, because I think it's so easy to be like, no one understands me. No one understands my pain. No one understands what I'm going through. When someone says, you know what, I went through something similar. Yeah, but you this. Yeah, but you that. Yeah, but it's easy for you. No, it's not easy for them. It was their experience. So really the goal of the book, in addition to entertaining people, hopefully, because I try to treat everything with a little bit of humor, is to let everybody know that no matter what you're going through, we need you on the planet, and other people need you, and other people want you, because you are not alone. You are the unique person that you are. And if you are not here, we miss out on this unique expression of humanity that is you.
Yep.
So connect.
That's right. The book
And
is...
speaking of connecting, I'm gonna have to pause. This is so much fun, though. You're such a. It's so fun to talk with you, and I would love to do a part 2 if we have the time. So let's definitely connect and see if we can add another chance to chat.
Yes,
we can
100%.
talk more things. We have so many things to talk about. My goodness.
Oh yes.
So
but I would say thank you so much, Anjali, for coming to this so far part 1. I really appreciate it for you taking some time. I'm sorry if I know you have to just rush out. But thank you so much once again for coming, for talking about this stuff. It's so wonderful, talk about games and everything, to get some more knowledge. So thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Everybody follow Hubby. Everybody do it. Everybody make sure that you follow, subscribe, do all the things, press all the buttons, look at the stuff on his screen, watch all of his other videos. He's a sweet and very smart person. Pay attention.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This is not supposed to be about me, but It's all
No,
supposed to be
I don't
about
care.
you.
That's what I didn't get. He didn't ask me to do it. People don't give gifts because they have to. They do it because they want to, and I'm telling the
Oh,
truth.
well,
So,
I appreciate it anyway. Thank you so much. I
yeah.
am so happy. I wish you all the best for the future. Everything that work you have to do, whether it's video game, movies, TV shows. Cannot wait to see more of all of you in all these
Neither can
exciting
I. I
things.
can't wait. Let's find out what's going to happen. I can't wait.
Yes, that's exciting.
Okay.